Today we're going to be talking about the Facebook strategies that you might want to throw into your real estate business. Now, please keep in mind this is a part 2. You do not have to go back to part 1. It is not in chronological order. If you like what you're listening to here at the end, I will post the video and you guys can go ahead and watch part 1 if you haven't already. The first thing I want to talk about is your friends and your friends list. So first and foremost, one of the best tactics that you can do on Facebook is to grow your friends in general. You can do this a lot of different ways. You can do this by just finding other people that you actually have met before, or friends of friends, or one of my favorite tactics is to actually go to your title company, your loan officer, any of the people that are very close to you, and friending some of their people that comment and like and just engage on their stuff all the time, because you're already using them. This is going to help out when you guys are kind of collabing on things together, when you're using that home inspector, when you're using that title company, and then you are actually tagging that individual. It is going to show to those people, so you can start building a little bit of a relationship with them, and with any luck start grabbing some of that attention. And of course, it's always best to find people that you already know on some level, even if it's just, hey, you went over to a friend's house, you met them at a party one time, you thought they were cool, but you guys never really connected or whatever. If you can find those types of people, that would obviously be ideal. And the main tactic here is to get your friends list up to as close to 5,000 people as you can, which is the Facebook limit max for back and forth friendship. But once you get up to about 4,900, you will have the option, I don't remember what the exact number is, but you will have the option to change to a professional account. It used to be called a celebrity account, or at least that's what I was calling it. I'm not sure if that was the official term. But this now allows people to follow you, which you can already set up, and you probably should. You should set it up to where they can follow you and not just friend you in order to see your stuff. So you do have to go into your settings for that and change that, but I do suggest you do that. And then of course, once you get to that 5,000 friends, definitely let people follow you. So as they're finding you, as the algorithm is suggesting them to you, or you to them, more like it, then you can start building up that a little bit more, because it gives you more of a database to push your content to. So if you're doing any of the other strategies that I talked about in part 1 or part 2 that are out there to engage your audience, then this is a really good thing, because instead of having 1,000 people, you will have 5 times that audience, 5,000, or even more once you get more and more people to follow you. Another cool strategy I am going to talk about at the end of this is a bunch of miscellaneous tools and things and just random tips that didn't really fit in any category, and I'm going to touch on one of them right now. That is using something like friendfilter. I think it's .io or AI. I can't remember which end portion it is. I'm pretty sure it's IO, so friendfilter.io. And what this is going to do is you can actually filter out all of your friends. There is a paid version. This used to be free, which kind of sucks that it's paid now, but it's very inexpensive and it's very powerful if this is going to be a big pillar of your business. It will actually tell you which of your friends are engaging the most and the least, and it's going to rank them from top to bottom so that you know all of your content is getting shoved to the top 20% of those people for the most part, with a few trickling in down below. And you can help out the algorithm a little bit by going through those people, particularly the ones that are not in the top 50, top 100 of your friends list, and going to their pages and engaging with them a little bit more. You might not be seeing their content, so you might actually have to go to their pages if you're trying to bump up that algorithm. Say maybe you have a client or a past client or a potential client that you want to have start seeing your stuff more and more. A great way to boost that algorithm is to go over to their page, comment, start some engagement, and then the algorithm will start bumping them up. But this friend filter will help you determine who those are. And a cool little tactic to gain more friends that don't seem like you're just adding people to add people, because you do not want to do that. You start adding all these realtors, industry professionals, things like that, and pretty soon your entire Facebook feed is just people that aren't going to do business with you. That's not the strategy we want. So we want to be careful about those kinds of people and friending them just to friend them, just to get your 5,000, right? But the friend filter will help you determine which of your top 50, top 100 people are your closest. And what I would do is go through each one of them, or pick 25, pick 50, whatever is manageable to you, and then go look at their top friends. Go look at their people that are constantly engaging. Check the like button, check the heart button, the comments, the engagement back and forth. And those are the people that might be worthwhile to target, especially if it's somebody that you really like already. because generally people are going to flock with people that are just like them. So if you want to get around more people, maybe they were a great past client, you just really love their energy and just who they were as a person, getting around more people like them, their friends, is always a good idea. And that tactic I mentioned a minute ago about liking people that like your same title company or, home inspector or what have you, these are actually really good for Instagram for sellers, because a lot of people will follow their title company, follow their home inspector, but they're not necessarily following each other back, or whatever that situation is. It's a really cool little thing to go, okay, these are clearly homeowners because they've done a home inspection, they've worked with title, they've got a loan officer, so you can start getting that database. Remember that only a small portion of people actually use the same real estate agent that they did the first time around. It's something like 80 some odd percent say that they would, but realistically only like 17% or something do. I don't remember the exact number. I should have looked that up before I started, but it doesn't matter. The point is a very small percentage of people use the same people over and over. So this is a great way to get them kind of in your world a little bit. Just remember that at some point you need to take the offline and take it online. So one of my favorite tactics is when you're actually inviting these people and you guys connect, have a conversation with them in a private message. Hey, I didn't want to be weak. I wanted to shoot you a friend invite. I noticed that you're friends with Carol. Carol's like so amazing. I really love her. And I just thought we'd kind of get along. So I just wanted to kind of pop in and say hi and, see what you're all about, see what you're up to, and have that conversation. And if you can take that to a coffee date, to a lunch date, not a date, let's watch the words that you're using when you're asking them, obviously, but to go out and just figure out what they're all about and see if they're a good vibe with you, see if they're your kind of people. And remember, you can also put them in friends lists. I know I mentioned this super briefly in part 1, but you can segment everybody into friends lists. And this is exactly how I do it. I've got a sphere of influence, a past client one. I've got one that lives on the Emerald Coast. That's where my team is. So we service Pensacola, Panama City, right? So anybody that lives along this Emerald Coast is in a whole different one. Then I've got vendors in one. I've got real estate professionals in another, because I am part of a company that has a revenue share built in if we bring on new agents. So if you guys have any questions about LPT Realty, let me know. I can walk you through all of it. It's awesome. It's the reason my whole team moved here. But the point is, we can segment every single one of these, and then we can actually post to these people directly, right? So now that 4 or 5, 6 posts per day that I talked about in part 1 don't seem that daunting, because you're pushing them all to certain types of people. So you want to hit your past clients? Cool. What do your past clients want to do? Maybe you separate them by buyer and seller, right? So the sellers have moved out of the area. I generally take them out of mine if they do move out. But for your buyers, they have a home now. They purchased with you, right? So they're past clients and they're homeowners. So what kind of information do they need that's different from what then the vendors need, or the other realtors need, or your sphere of influence, or whatever the other category is? So now you can push a lot more directed content at them. All you've got to do is go to the friends section of it. You'll see custom friends lists, and you just start adding people to it. So segment them out to whatever makes sense for you, and then you can target them directly. Because remember how the algorithm works, right? If you've got 5,000, let's call it 1,000 friends, make it more realistic for most people. You've got 1,000 friends, and every post that you do, every story, everything that you do goes out to that 1,000. And Facebook's algorithm wants people to stay on the page. So they're not going to show your stuff to somebody that doesn't want to see it, because they're just going to click off of Facebook. That's bad business for Facebook. So they throw it to the people that you have the best engagement with, just like with that friendfilter.io thing. Like, they're telling you which ones are saying it, right? So they're pushing it to them. If it does really well, let's say they push it out to 200 of your 1,000 friends. They're not all 1,000 are going to see it. But let's say 200 of them do, whether they scroll past it quickly, whether they stop, whether they comment, what have you, that's going to bump up the algorithm more. And if people are engaging with it more, then it shoves it out to more people. So it goes, okay, great, this one did really well. Let's push this to another 100 people and see how it does. And it keeps going like this. And as you can imagine, if it's starting with the people that already love your stuff and they're already stopping and engaging on your stuff, then it's going to trickle out pretty quickly. This is why Facebook has very little virality. Every once in a while you get lucky with the giveaways or whatever you're doing, that people might share it and push it out to others. But for the most part, Facebook doesn't have the same virality that TikTok does, or YouTube Shorts, or LinkedIn even right now, right? It's because of how their algorithm works. It is meant to be a place for friends and family. So in order to kind of use it to your advantage, you can segment your friends out and then push content directly to them that makes sense for them. The market update that you're giving to your sphere of influence and your past clients is great, but giving that to your vendors and other real estate professionals in the area, not super helpful, right? Unless, of course, you're targeting that. And if you are at a brokerage that allows you some sort of benefit for bringing on agents, well, now you can have a post every single day going out, a story, whatever, going out just to those people. And then you also have everything else that is just kind of being pushed. And then your lifestyle posts, the stuff about your day-to-day, what your life looks like, your family, the fun stuff you're doing, that can go to your entire group. So now you can kind of see how powerful this can be, because now instead of hitting 200 of your 1,000, if you've got 200 in one group, let's say 200 past clients, and then you do it, it's doing 100 of them, right? So maybe it's a little bit less, but it's way more targeted at people that really like it. So the chances that it eventually goes through your whole list and shows it to everybody more than once is very, very likely. Another cool little trick you can do with friends list is you can actually go into those friends lists and it'll have them all in there. Now, you used to be able to see friends list feeds where it was just the feeds of those people, and I loved it, but it looks like they took that away. I haven't seen it in quite a while. Either that or they moved it and I didn't figure it out, but you used to be able to go right to their feeds and do your Facebook 5x5 or your network nurture program that I'm going to talk about here in just like 2 minutes, right? But now you actually have to click on each individual one. So for those of you that don't like CRMs, or maybe you don't have your CRM set up properly, but you really love Facebook, you love being inside of it, you can actually do your entire database right out of Facebook. You're going to be missing the folks that aren't in Facebook, but this is still probably going to be 90% of your database. I'm a really big believer in a CRM, so I don't think you should do this. I think you should use your CRM. However, big comma, you need to use whatever works. And there's a pretty good strategy with friends lists that you can do, where as long as you're segmenting them all and you're keeping them up to date, which, by the way, here's a little tip to keep them up to date. Every year on their birthday, when you're going through doing all your happy birthday posts, your 5 to 10 for the day, however many there are, go into each one of their profiles and change which friends list they are in, because some people are going to move around. Your past client that used to live here may move away. Your sphere of influence that lived here may move away. Whatever. Somebody may move into your area. Somebody may have become a real estate professional and you need to take them out of that group. Just segment them all out, and then now on their birthday you're keeping up with them. You'll never have to worry about it again. Now, the first time you set this up, it's obviously going to be a little bit daunting. You're going to have to go through 800 people, 1,000 people, however many friends lists you have. So the first time does suck. It is going to take a little bit of time. Just be patient with it. It is well worth it in the end. So now if you're looking for a way to actually hit every single person and do a manual touch, use this as your CRM, which again, I don't condone, but if that's what you want to do, there's an easy way to do this. All you need to do is hit 9 of the letters every single month. And this is going to allow you to hit your entire database on Facebook 4 times per year, which is the bare minimum that I suggest for personal touches, at least for the people that are in your sphere of influence, A and B categories. If you guys have watched my channel before, you've seen how I like to break down A, B, C, and D, all of the people that I meet, and I segment them, and they just keep moving from all of those. But your A's and your B's, which should be the people on your Facebook for the most part, unless, of course, you're adding a bunch of people like that strategy I mentioned before, then you might want to segment them a little bit more, hence the CRM. You can get a little bit more specific with it. But you don't want to get specific with it. You just want to run it through Facebook. This is an easy strat. I did this early on. Hit 9 of the letters. So in month 1, January, you're hitting A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, right? Month 2, you get the point, right? So now, at the end of 3 months, you've hit the entire alphabet. Everybody's been hit quarter 1, as long as you're doing the strategy. So then you can go through here, and what's really cool about this is for the people that you don't feel comfortable maybe picking up the phone and calling, sending a text to or a private message to, which the private message isn't anything daunting. Like, you should easily be able to do that. If you're afraid of that, you try it out for a few people that you're less afraid with and see how they respond. They're not going to bite. It's not going to be scary. But for those that you're not going to be doing that with, you can go right into their profile and find something in there that you like and comment on it, like on it. Or, generally, if you haven't been doing that or it hasn't been coming up in your network nurture program, which again, I'll talk about in just a moment, then this is a great way to make sure that they're getting touched, bump the algorithm between both of you. And when that happens, they start seeing more of your stuff. So you're adding and you're kind of doubling up. You're hitting your sphere of influence at a regular cadence like you should be, but you're also boosting the Facebook algorithm. Every time you private message somebody, comment on something, like something, love something, care, any of those emoticons that they have, you're bumping up the algorithm between you two, because Facebook is going, they like seeing each other's stuff. They're private messaging with each other. Let's get them to see more of each other's stuff. Maybe that will keep them on the app a little bit longer. And then from there, it's just the maintenance. On their birthday, you're changing everything. You're going through, use some of these strategies, see how effective they are for you. Make sure you're using the calls to action and some of the other tips that I mentioned in part 1. So the next one I want to go over is a network nurture program. Is something that I've been doing my entire career. I learned this from a Keller Williams agent way back in the day. She called it her Facebook 5x5x5, but that's not as catchy, so I just did network nurture. Just it's a little bit quicker, so I'm not having to say Facebook 5x5x5 like 15 times in this video, okay? But it's simply put, that 5x5x5 thing that I just mentioned, that's exactly what it is. It is 5 likes and reactions. So the like button, the love button, the care button, the wow button, all of those. It's 5 of those per day. Just bear with me. I'll explain all of it in full. 5 meaningful comments per day and 5 private messages per day. If you do this every single day, you go through, you look through these feeds, and if you've got the friends list, like I mentioned, you can actually go through each one of these and kind of do this, but it's generally better to do right there on your main feed. And all you're going to do is start scrolling and start commenting, liking, and private messaging people on purpose instead of just on accident, right? Every time you comment, you're also going to like. So what it's really going to look like is you're really going to have 10 likes and or comments, likes and or reactions, and 5 comments, because you're not going to leave a comment and not like the post of some capacity. You're already there. You might as well already be hitting that like button and bump that algorithm a little bit more and just increase the engagement for them, which they like as well. So as you're going through your feed, you see something that maybe is not comment worthy. Somebody, something happened in their life and they just posted something funny. Cool. Hit like and whatever, right? And then you're going to do the same thing for the comments. Whenever you see something that warrants something that could be a conversation, you're going to do a comment and you're going to try to continue a conversation. That's your whole goal with the comments, is make it meaningful enough somebody replies to you and you start having a dialogue in there. And for some of them, if they're a little bit more personal, that's when you do the direct messages. Or maybe as you're commenting, it's kind of going a little bit further. After 3 or 4 little comments, I like to throw it off to the side and do a private message. Be like, hey, I didn't want to keep cluttering up your comment feed and have to have both of us click back and forth. We can go and continue this here. Hey, by the way, did you know this about whatever, right? And then you just continue that dialogue. And all you're doing is you're building the relationship. Facebook is a place for friends and family. So build the relationship. If you've got people in there that you don't even know who they are, this is a great thing to do. Make sure you're going in there and you're using some of these strategies. And what this does is, first, obviously, it builds a relationship, the comments and the private messages. But on the likes and comments the likes and the emoticons and stuff, the loves, the cares, all of that, it pops up in that little feed. So when they hit that little bell, they get a little notification and they're constantly seeing your name, right? I mean, it's not going to be constant because you're only doing 5 to 10 of these per day, but it's going to be constant enough that they're seeing some of your stuff. And when you're friending people that are friends of other people in there, it's giving them notifications too. So now your name's just popping up on 2 or 3 different things, and it's really subtle, it's really small. Hey, Andrew Armander, boom, 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 right? But it does work. It keeps top of mind awareness on there. And then when you start having the conversations, you're going to start hearing things. When you're doing it right, you're going to start hearing things like, man, I'm seeing you all over my Facebook feed. I'm seeing you everywhere. You're doing a lot here. Even though your strategy might not have changed, they're just seeing more of your stuff because you've pushed the algorithm to that. And now you're pushing the relationship side of it. And hopefully you start taking the online, offline, and there's some other strategies I'll talk about with that in here in just a few minutes in the miscellaneous section. I don't want to give away anything good because there's some gold in that. Make sure you stick around for that. But lots of cool little strategies. This network nurture program, if you did this and only this, and you had a good enough database and you just did it right, I guess, you're doing the private messages, the direct messages. That's the one thing that every time I train somebody and I go in to look at their private messages, I'm like, you're not doing the private messages. That is literally the gold. Don't skip that. If not, you're playing on Facebook. If you just do likes and comments, all you're doing is playing on Facebook. Make sure you're doing the direct messages. It is so important to this strategy. You will not get anything without it. Trust me, I've watched it probably not hundreds, but dozens of times with my own personal agents I'm coaching and things like that. So just Just trust me, okay? You know what? While we're on the subject, I am going to mention taking the online, offline. I want to make sure that the context is good. This is when you're seeing something. This is one of my favorite examples to give somebody. I've got a past client of mine who she's got a couple of daughters that are starting to get into college age. Now, she had already sold her house with me like 2 years previously, and I keep up with her every 3 months. That's what I do with all of my past clients. I keep in touch with them every 3 months, just kind of check in with them, build the relationship a little bit more, and secure those sales later, but also because, well, I spent a lot of time with them, and I just like that interpersonal connection. But here's the point. One of her kids went off to college, to Florida State University, and she posted about it, a picture of her kid, holding the letter, got into FSU, and I was like, oh my gosh, Betsy, we'll call her Betsy. Hey, Betsy, this is so amazing. So I private messenger. Obviously, I commented and liked, so you don't just have to do the private message and skip the other things. If it's a cool thing, give them praise right there in the comments too. So I commented, I liked, then I private messaged her and was like, hey, this is really awesome. Congratulations to your daughter. I'm going to FSU. When does she start? And it's like, okay, cool. She starts in the beginning of the semester, which is like August or whatever it was, right? So I went on to Amazon. I obviously helped her sell her house and buy the next house, so I knew exactly where she lived, obviously. And I found an FSU hat. Spent $2 for Amazon to gift wrap it. They just put it in a little bag. It's an FSU, normal, Florida State University hat. And I had them do not a handwritten note, but just the little paper note that they put in there. Nothing crazy. It doesn't need to be elaborate. And it just said the daughter's name. Hey, I saw that you got into Florida State University. That's a very prestigious school. I really want to wish you good luck in your future endeavors, or something like that. Just something professional that's not creepy, because it is a kid and I'm a male, and it was a female kid at that. Like, I'm not, you get the point, but don't make it creepy, but send that gift. And when she got it, Betsy called me, and she was like, I could tell, just like right on the verge of tears. She goes, this is such a big thing for us. And, it was like a really big deal. She doesn't post on Facebook that much too, so I knew it was really big. And it just really like brought a lot out of her. And to show you that it does work, about a week and a half later, this probably would have happened anyway, I think, just because I've kept up the relationship. But a week and a half later, she had a person in her office that was trying to sell this house, and it wasn't going well. And the agent that they used didn't tell them about a showing, and an agent walked in on his wife in the shower. Not a cool situation. So he fired him, and he was looking for somebody new, and she was like, you're the guy that he needs. I need you to talk to him, right? So I ended up pulling that listing. I got very lucky and double-sided it, so it ended up making the story even better. But the point is, it works, right? Like, I probably would have gotten that anyway with the way that I do business, but it just helps secure that a little bit more. And I've got lots of those little stories. When somebody's moving, one of my favorite things is to get a book of the city that they're in, one of those big, like, coffee table books. I either do it from the city they're leaving, if they loved it, so I get one from here in the area, like Destin, Florida, there's a big book, right? Or if they're going to like a bigger city like Cincinnati or something like that I can find a book on Amazon for, they're like $20, but they're these big hefty things with beautiful photos of the cities and things to do in there and stuff. So I get them that gift. I'm like, hey, so sad that you're leaving. You can also do this for your sellers and stuff too, but it's a cool little thing that just shows that you're paying attention, shows that you're in their lives, right? And then help secure those future sales down the road. Okay, the next thing I want to go over is Facebook Live. Yeah, you heard that right. Facebook Live. Remember that thing that we did like crazy for like 4 years, from like 2016 to 2020? It was all the rage. It had tons of traffic, and then everybody just stopped. I couldn't even tell you the last time I've seen a Facebook Live outside of me or one of the agents that I'm coaching or something like that. But don't get discouraged. Facebook Live is still there, and it's still really good. Just because you're not getting a lot of views during the Facebook Live, which is what kills it for most people, well, there was only 2 people watching. The really cool thing about Facebook Live is for you guys that don't know about video. You're scared to do video. You're worried about posting a video, and you're going to shoot it 20 times. I get it. I am that personality too when I first started. You see me now doing videos all the time. I do these in one take. I'm not generally, stopping and going because I got better at it. But when I started, I was utter poo-poo. Okay, I was not good. So I started with Facebook Lives. It's one of the first things that I did. So every Monday, right after our team meeting, I would go on Facebook Live in my vehicle. I'd take 1 or 2 of the agents with me, and we would just talk about anything. It didn't matter. Now, here's the thing with Facebook Live. You might not get a lot of interaction right away. You might not get a lot of views right away, but the playbacks The playbacks are good. And because you might be that personality that you're going to shoot a video 10 times and then ultimately be like, I'm not posting it, it doesn't look good, the Facebook Live will happen automatically. So you're going to do the video and you're just going to just tell yourself, yes, you are reposting it. It's going to give you that option when you start the Facebook Live. Yes, you're reposting it. You're going to just do it and just get it out there. Don't worry about how you sound. Here's the really cool thing. Those little stutters that you have and those breaks that you have, or maybe you forget what you're saying, you stumble on your words, those are the things that make you human and change the perspective for the person watching. So they're actually good, okay? You don't need to have a super polished video where you're cutting out every ums and and break and anything like that. Just go through who you are, because they want to work with you. And if that's how you are in person, awesome. That's what they need to see, okay? Because if they think that you're super polished, super professional, you got a tie on, you're doing every little video of like super, whatever, you're going to attract that kind of person. When they come to you and you're silly and you're fun and you make things lively and engaging, or whatever your personality is, it's different from that video, they're going to go, ooh, we got the wrong person. That's not who I thought we were getting. I thought we were getting super stiff professional Andrew instead of like fun, silly Andrew, right? So keep that stuff in mind, but don't sleep on Facebook Live. And here's a couple more tips too. When you're doing a Facebook Live, you can do this for a lot of different reasons. You can have a scheduled one. You can do one when you're doing open houses, which is one of my favorite ones to do because it's super quick. It lets people jump in and ask you questions. So when you're doing open houses, I think you should be doing lives. You might as well, right? And if people don't like it afterwards, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really affect the algorithm that much. It's fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. But make sure that when you're doing it, in your words that you have, you've got a hook. And as you're starting the video, you've got a hook. The hook is that first sentence that somebody sees that attracts them to the video and gives them some sort of insight on the gold that they are going to receive. Just like in the beginning of this video, I talk about like how important Facebook is and what you could be doing it with your real estate business, right? It might not even have been that good of a hook, but as you do more and more of them, you'll get a little bit better. But you need to have these because remember, the playback on the Facebook Live is where the real money's at. So make sure you have that hook so they're not just, oh, hey, you're staring at the video forever. I'm just going to wait for some people to get on. Don't do any of that. Jump right into it. Even if you have 0 viewers, run through the whole thing, because the playbacks are where you're going to get most of your views. I can't emphasize that enough. And keep in mind, it's a social platform. So in your Facebook Live, ask some questions. Let's use the open house as an example. You're doing an open house and you show a beautiful walk-in closet, right? Ask them, hey, is this too much of a closet? Like, what do you guys think? Would you guys love to have this closet? I love that they've got the built-ins over here. I love that, whatever. Put your opinion in there and then ask them some questions, because it's a social platform and they're going to comment on there. It might not be immediate. It might be 3 days later, but that's perfectly fine. Now you're starting to have more conversations on Facebook, which is exactly what we're looking for. And if you are going to be doing Facebook Lives regularly, maybe it's part of your strategy now, you're going to throw it in once per week or whatever, just make sure, one of the tips I can give you is schedule them, tease them out, and tell people about them so that they know it's coming up. So if you know you've got an open house on Saturday from 2 to 4, you can do a little teaser on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before the event and just say, hey guys, just want to remind you, I'm going live at 2:30 p.m., here on Facebook, and I'm going to be at my open house, and you guys need to see this walk-in closet. It is amazing. I don't want to spoil it for you. Just come to my Facebook Live. If you have any questions about the home buying or selling process or investing, jump on my live, ask your questions. I'll do an Ask Me Anything right at the end, or I'll just be answering questions as we go. So you've got an open forum to ask me anything that you'd like. Once you do this regularly, you're not going to get anything in the beginning. I'm promising you that. Very few of you are going to get any sort of reaction except from Mom and Aunt Sally, right? Once you start doing them, the people that haven't really told you that they're thinking about buying or selling, that are in your Facebook feed, maybe they know another realtor, so they haven't said anything, they don't know who to go with, or they think they're going with this other person, and they start seeing all of your content, and then they jump in for one of these lives, and they're asking you a couple of questions, and you start figuring out, oh, it looks like they are going to be purchasing in the future. Great. Now you can start, having those conversations around them, answering them, and hopefully pull them away from the person they thought they were going to use originally, because you're providing relevant content to them. And if you're really feeling it and you're going to do it every single week, make it a show. Get a co-host if you want. Get some sort of theme. Draft out all your ideas. Make a whole show of it. It could be anything. We used to do one on Facebook called the Just Listed Show. We paired with a local news media company here. I did it for years. And it got, I mean, tens of thousands of views every single week. We did it every week without fail. Every week I had a co-host. It was cool. We talk about the market. We talk about, what everything's looking like. We talk about new things happening in the cities, changes happening. So you can make it a show. Think, sort of like a news outlet for your little area. Become the mayor of your area, and you can do it on Facebook Live just fine. You could also do like weekly trivia. You could do match this house with a buyer, or maybe you've got a buyer, so you go live to tell them all about it. That's a really good strategy that I think you should be using for every one of your buyers. It doesn't necessarily have to be Facebook Live, but I do think you guys should be shooting a video every time you have a buyer. The split second, or seller, the split second you have a consultation with either one of them. I'm going to use the buyer for this example. You've got a buyer consultation done. You know everything that they're looking for, their time frame, what city they want, what neighborhood they really like, what their budget is. Shoot a dang video. Maybe you're going out and showing properties, maybe you're not, but shoot a video. Hey guys, it's Andrew here. I've got a new buyer in town, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. They're looking to purchase this weekend or next weekend. That's when they'd like to get their offer in for a closing in about 30 to 45 days. If you know of somebody thinking about going on the market anytime soon that matches all of this criteria, we're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath with a pool and a lanai, and they really like a large master closet. If you've got something like this coming up, if you're a realtor, or maybe you know of somebody that's about to sell their house that this matches with, please let me know, because I might be able to help get their home sold before it ever hits on the market. Now, that last little script is from one of the coaching groups I'm in, but it works really, really, really well. Another thing you can do is ask questions in your Facebook Lives, and you can do an ask me anything sort of thing. Hold an open forum while you're sitting at the open house of like, hey, you can pop in and ask any question in the world that you want. And maybe you make it fun a little bit. You do some sort of twist on it to make it a little bit exciting. And of course, real estate related stuff always goes well. Try to stick away from the stuff that people don't really need to know about, like what does title do, what are the inner workings of an appraisal, like things like that are going to happen as the transaction's going. Very few people want to know all of that before they get into it. They want all the stuff ahead of that. So all of that relevant content ahead of that, like what are the pros and cons of living in the city? Like what's the cost of living like over there? What is there to do? What I'm going to be able to take my family to go do? These are the kind of things that you can do. So maybe you do a Facebook Live where you're going out with your family, or you're going out to some sort of function that a family would go to. You're going to the dog park and you're just watching the dogs play. And then you're just talking about, you show all the dogs playing, you flip it around, you're like, hey, it's Andrew with LPT Realty. I'm over here at Liza Jackson Dog Park. They've got a section for the big dogs, the little dogs. They even have a beach area. I'm going to show you guys that here in a few minutes, but check this out. This is located in Fort Walton Beach. Boom, right? And then you're panning it around. You kind of get the idea. The same thing that you would do another video for, you can do the live on, and you kind of get the benefit of it being raw. And then when people are watching it back, they know it's live. So when they see those little mistakes and stuff, like it's in their brain. They're like, oh, well, it was live, of course. Like that, he talked for 10 minutes. You can't get it perfect for 10 minutes. It's insane. So you get a little bit of leeway that way. So again, for those of you guys that are a little bit worried about doing video, live seems scarier, I promise you, but if you can bite the bullet and do it, you'll get over your fear and you'll get over all those little mannerisms that you do much, much faster. Okay, next up is Facebook Marketplace. This is so underutilized, it's ridiculous. We have this entire section on Facebook that says stuff is for sale here, and people are using it a lot, and real estate agents are not. I don't understand. This should be part of your process. It is free. You don't have to pay a dime to put your house in here. So put your listings in here. Put your brokerage listings in here. I would get permission. I know if it's within your brokerage, you technically, at most companies, you don't need to ask for permission, but I would anyway. Make sure you put the listing courtesy, follow all the rules and stuff, but put as many out there as you can. I know agents that this is all they do. They literally bang the phones for agents and ask them if they can put their listings up and advertise their listings for them. And then they put them in Facebook Marketplace because the listing agents are too lazy to do it. This is insane to me. People are looking at this stuff. Go on there and look at something. Just search anything in the Facebook Marketplace. Do me that favor. Pull out your phone and actually search for something for 5 minutes. Search cars, jet skis, something fun, right? You will never stop seeing that stuff come across your feed. And the same is true when people are looking at houses. Those things are going to constantly pop up. Yes, they might have a realtor. Yes, they might be looking on Zillow or Redfin or wherever. But the point is, they can also be seeing it in their off time. So they're not in a shopping mood. They're scrolling. All of a sudden, they see this cute house. They're in there. Boom. They're starting to see your stuff. Utilize Facebook Marketplace. So here are some of my strategies for using Facebook Marketplace so that you guys can actually get good benefit out of it. I don't like showing more than 4 photos. I show the front, I show the back, I show the master bathroom, and I show the the living room, sorry. Those are generally the 4 most important ones that people want to see. Now, if it's a vacant house, I'm actually going to get rid of that living room, and I'm going to use another room that's interesting. It could be, a backyard, like screened in porch. It could be the pool. It could be something like that, right? But generally 4, and I'm not putting the price on there if I can help it. I know Facebook asks you for a price. So there's some strategy on whether you should or shouldn't do it. But I like them to actually call or go on the landing page that I'm providing or something like that so that they can get that information. But I only do 4 so that they want to see the rest. I don't put the address up there if I can help it. So I try to make it a little bit vague, but there are strategies where you can do that. Like, don't get me wrong. But I generally don't like to. And then I like to put my link early. The link to my website, to, them to see all of the information, do it as early as possible, where it makes sense, right? So you don't just want to put the link, then put all your information. It's not a super great strategy, but hey, we've got this home in X neighborhood going up for sale or is up for sale. For more photos and click here, and then you talk about the listing underneath that. Another cool thing that you can do is add an extra photo, but make it a QR code and just go snap this QR code to find out all of the information and have that QR code go to your website or, of course, a landing page. But I generally like to do the website if your website is set up to where people have to sign up after one click. That's what we do on ours. So if you try to click off of that, you try to see another house, it will prompt a sign up, and that's how you get the signups there. But you could also do a landing page where it's immediate. Hey, give me all of your contact information, and I will let you know about this home. And make sure that the description is enticing. Don't put the same stuff a lot of real estate agents are doing. This is 3-bed, 2-bath. You're copy pasting the remarks section. Most of the time, that's utter garbage. Don't do that. Most real estate agents don't know what they're writing there. Put a story. Tell it what it's like to live in that dang home. You can throw it all in ChatGPT. You can type the whole description that the other agent has, or maybe it's one of your listings, and put that in ChatGPT and say, this is a description of a house for sale. Can you turn this into a story of what it would look like to live in this home, and give detail about small things that they might be doing, such as, and then give a couple of examples. Lounging around in this big, soaking in this big tub with a glass of wine, or sitting on the back porch and watching the sun rise, or whatever the things that you know about the house is. And ChatGPT will push one out, and you can kind of tweak it a little bit and put that in there. Make it exciting, make it fun, that they want to see it and envision themselves living in it, instead of just seeing 3-bed, 2-bath with a pool over in Kenwood, da-da-da-da-da. No, not good. And if you are using a landing page, make sure it is a very clear call to action inside of that landing page. That's all I'm going to talk about for Facebook Marketplace. Let's go on to the next set. Your Facebook business page is what I want to talk about next. First and foremost, your banner. It should be instantly obvious, just like in part 1 when I was talking about your personal banner. Your Facebook business page banner needs to be the same way. It should be very obvious that you're a real estate professional immediately. And of course, make sure that you put your contact information in there as well. So you've got your phone number, you've got your email, whatever you want for people to get a hold of you. Maybe you even throw a QR code in there, although you're hoping that somebody's looking at it on their desktop and have their phone on them. Most people are on mobile nowadays, anyway, like 70% of them. So QR code is a little bit outdated. But the point is, it should be obvious. You should have a picture of a beautiful house, or the area or the city that you live in, or your face, your contact info, all of that. Make sure that's in there, and make sure that you fill out all the other stuff. Exactly what you do. Who do you work for? Entire bio section, fill it out, the description, put it, what do you do? What's your niche? Put it in there. They need to see this, because what most people are doing on your Facebook business page is they're finding it from these other avenues, all that other great stuff that you guys are doing, they're finding it from this, and they're validating it with your Facebook or your social media presence. I do this all the time too. Like, even when I'm getting a professional, if I can't find them online, I'm generally not working with them. The only human being in my circle that doesn't have a decent web presence or social media presence is my hairdresser, and that's just because I found her randomly. But if I needed to go to a new hairdresser, I'm going to go find to see if they have a Facebook business page, or at least a personal page where they're putting a lot of stuff up about their business. I want to know that they're engaged. I want to know that they are committed to doing this for a long time. And same with the real estate professional. We want to be able to see that, and your clients are doing it too. And another thing with the Facebook business page, even if you're not running ads on it, make sure that you're posting regularly. You can do this very simply by just getting a bunch of stuff done in Canva and having it post once every couple of days or once a week. If you're not using it and you don't have a lot of followers on there, I understand. You don't want to put a lot of effort into that. It's mainly for ads. In fact, as things are switching, I think most of that should be done on your personal page. I actually think the business page should only be for if you are running ads and to give that little bit of social proof. So you don't need to have a ton of people is my point. If you've got 8 followers on there, cool. The point of it is somebody is going to find it online, find you, and match the two. And if you haven't posted since 9 months ago, they're going to think that you're not in the business anymore. So do yourself a favor and make sure you're posting regularly. All right, this last section is the miscellaneous stuff that I couldn't really place in any of the other sections. I talked about a few of them. I snuck a few of them in here and there, but these are just going to be kind of random things that didn't fit with that. So let's get into them. First and foremost, stop posting hashtags on Facebook, guys. Facebook doesn't care about hashtags. Hashtag was something started by Twitter. I don't even know if it was started by Twitter, but they were the main proponent of it. And it was intended solely so that they knew who to throw the content in front of. Instagram is the same way. Instagram wants hashtags. And I know what you're thinking already in your head. You're going, but I use Meta where I post on Instagram and then I have it automatically post to Facebook. I understand. If you're going to do that, go in there, edit it, take the hashtags out. You're actually hurting your algorithm. Facebook has not admitted that 100%, but it's pretty clear the data is out there that the hashtags are hurting your algorithm, and that is the last thing you want if Facebook is going to be one of the pillars of your business. And another thing, recency. Recency is very important to Facebook. So this is why posting regularly is important. It wants newer and newer stuff. They figured out from Twitter, they figured out from these other social media platforms that some people get their news fast and it keeps people on the platform. So the same kind of thing is here, where it might not be news, but they do want relevant, recent content to push on their website to push to more people. Now, you don't want to drown it. You don't want to do 40 posts per day. I mean, I don't think you do anyway. I've never tried that strategy, but you do want to make sure that some of these posts are recent. And of course, high quality. Facebook is maneuvering into more high quality. Previously, that was an Instagram thing only, and on Facebook, it could be grainy. It didn't matter because it was for friends and family, but now they are starting to push that quality because, again, Facebook found out that when it is high quality, people are going to be attracted to it more. It's more visually appealing. It's more striking. The sound is good. They're going to stay on it longer, which is Facebook's entire reason for existing. And make sure that you're posting at the right times. Posting at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you run a real estate business, is probably not very good. There's probably not a whole lot of people at 3 o'clock in the morning. Unless, of course, you live in Hawaii or, a different country or something like that, which I don't know why you'd be watching my channel, but if you do that and your customers are coming from a different area, then yes, posting at 3 in the morning your time, that might be, 6 p.m. their time or something. I don't even know if that makes sense with Hawaii, but just trying to give some context. So do it when your customers are on there. And, Facebook will tell you exactly when that is when you go into the analytics for your Facebook business page. I don't think they do that for your personal, but you can kind of estimate when the best times are. And the best times typically are during your lunch break in the morning between 7 and 9 a.m. when people are just getting into work. They're kind of scrolling it while they're sipping their morning coffee. Right after lunch as well, from 1 to about 3. This is people have that post-lunch lull. And lastly, 7 to 9 in the evening is generally pretty good. People are winding down. They're having their little nightcap or, they're watching their show and they're sort of scrolling Facebook, whatever. Those are generally going to be rules of thumb for good times to post, which will in turn give you better engagement, which should help your algorithm a little bit. Make sure that if you are posting, you're doing it regularly and consistently. If Facebook notices that you drop off or you post for 4 days and then you stop for 3 days and then you post again for a week and a half, you stop for 9 days, they're going to see that you're inconsistent and they don't like that. They want people on the platform. And if you're inconsistent, you're not providing them relevant content to push in front of your people. Make sure that video's in your strategy somewhere. I talked about video like 1,800 times over the last 2 videos. I talk about it a lot on my channel. Video is so important right now. Not only are you going to invite the people that like you, you're going to push away the ones that don't. And I know you're sitting here thinking, well, I need everything I can get right now. I promise you, you don't. You're not going to enjoy this career if you're dealing with people that are not like you. Push video out, get people to see you, see your mannerisms, see the look in your eyes when you're talking about real estate and the things that you're passionate about, and they will flock to you, I promise. And another thing, post for discussion, not for engagement. We do not want to get all the likes and comments in the world. We want discussions. We want conversations. We want to take relationships further. It is way more important to have 3 dedicated people comment very they're on it versus 39 people liking your post. That doesn't do much, right? I mean, there's a little bit there, but it is much stronger to have the conversations. So stop worrying about engagement. Stop worrying about how many likes you have. Come on, we're over it, okay, guys? This should be in our past by now. I know it hits the dopamine or whatever it is in our body. Don't worry about it, okay? You want the discussions because you're looking to make the phone ring, not to make you feel good. And stop the clickbait posts. I don't know what it is with realtors. We want to put the sky is falling, interest rates are crazy, and we're a little bit worried, so we're getting worried. I'm watching agents put stuff on their social media that is scaring the consumer when this is not a bad time to buy if it's for the right person. There's never a bad time to buy if somebody needs to buy. So stop pushing them away. Stop telling people it's a bad time to buy. You don't know their situation. You don't yes, interest rates are higher than they've been. They're not that high. Let's be completely honest. Historically, they're fine. And us projecting our opinion is not good for everybody because we're not in their shoes. And another thing, don't take people off of Meta or Facebook. Try not to take them out. I see this a lot too. You're going to post your MLS link or something like that, or your website link. There are some strategies where this is beneficial, but you don't want to be doing it consistently. You want to try to keep them on Meta. This is particularly important if you're running ads right now. I know I didn't talk about ads. It's going to have to be a whole nother video that we do at length, but the ads, you've got an option for Facebook to gather the data for you. That's the best one right now. If you take them to a landing page, Meta is actually kind of stifling your growth because they can get that ad money anywhere. They don't need you to take people off of their site to do it, and it's just going to get worse as time goes on, I think. Oh, and another thing, make your profile public. What are you doing? You try to be a secret? Make your stuff public. If somebody has to friend you just to talk to you, probably not a great idea. If you want to do real estate, okay? You don't need to be hidden. Your information is everywhere. So if you're worried that the government has your info or whatever, it's everywhere. They have it already, okay? Make your stuff public, make yourself easy to find, and make sure you've got some relevant content on your personal and your business page at all times that somebody can make sure that they're seeing. And stop putting like and share on stuff. Facebook figured it out, guys. Okay, they don't like it. They don't like it. They're going to stunt your reach. So don't put like and share on your posts if you can help it. And you should also limit certain words like free, like, share, buy, sale, limited sale, join my team, follow me, secret, like things like that are kind of like clickbaity. The things that you've seen in the past, stop doing them. Facebook has figured it out and they're stunting your reach. The last tip I really want to give you guys, and this is a really, really cool one that those of you that have run ads before, you already know, but you can actually upload your CRM database into Facebook Ads Manager. You do need a business account to do this, and I'll talk about this in my Facebook ads videos when I start doing those, because I've run a lot of Facebook ads in my day, and we're starting to do it again here soon. But you can upload your entire CRM into it, and Facebook will try to track those people down, and then you can actually run ads with them for dirt cheap. Like, I'm talking like $1 a day. It doesn't have to be cosmic, and they will get slammed, because even at $1 a day, I mean, I think we're spending $5 a day for a 17 or 18,000 person database. Every single one of those is getting chased around Facebook all the time, and I'm running $5 a day, and that's kind of excessive. I could probably do it with $3 a day. But I want to make sure that they're getting ads from me, they're constantly seeing our stuff, and it's targeting them directly, which is really, really cool. Okay, that's all I've got for you guys in this video. I'm sorry that it was another long one. Go back and hit part 1 if you haven't already. We're going to throw it up on the screen. My name is Andrew Mongo. Of course, you can call me Mongo. I am a real estate team leader out here in the Panhandle of Florida. So if you've got referrals out in Pensacola to Panama City and everything in between, so Destin, Fort Walton Beach, stuff like that, you can reach out to me. Again, the contact information is up. And as always, if you have questions about LPT Realty and why I moved my entire team over here and got a resounding yes when I did, give me a call or set something up with me. I'll also have a Calendly link down below. You can get right on my schedule, and we can chat about that to see if that is right for you. That's all I've got this week. I'll see you guys in the next one. See you.